Hey, gun people. Uh, One of my good commenters put this in a comment. I just did a video on why you shouldn't shoot because somebody else tells you to shoot. When you fire a gun and use deadly force, you have to make that decision independent of your own information. You can't just do it. Now, I've said before, you can draw your gun if you see another cop draw his gun, because you can reasonably assume that he sees something that you can't see. But you cannot shoot just because he shoots, and you cannot shoot because he or someone else tells you to shoot. Now, you can, but you need to articulate it. So if I run up to a guy and I'm responding to a bank robbery in process or in progress, and I get to the scene and we make a phone call in, and the manager's hiding in a room and said, look, the guy's got a pink shirt on, and he's got long white hair, and he's got shorts on, and he's barefooted. And he just shot one of the tellers, and he's still got the gun threatening other people. And now I see the guy run out. And then as he's running away, I don't shoot because I can chase him. A bank manager runs out of the store and goes, that's the guy that shot the people, shoot him. And I shoot him because of that statement. It's going to be unjustified. However, if I shoot him because I already know that he matched the description, I already have knowledge, totality of circumstances, I already know he's the guy that shot, I already assume that he shot, and while he's running away, I see that he's armed. So I think he's a fleeing felon. And I shoot him because of the fleeing dangerous felon. And I believe he's a dangerous felon because of the information I have and because of the fact he's running out with a gun. And I have a manager coming out. So totality, I can shoot him, but I cannot shoot him just because the bank teller said or the bank manager said shoot him. Same way if a cop came out, if the mayor comes out, if a judge comes out, hell, even if old President Trump comes out and says, shoot that guy Rick, he's a liberal. I'll be like, damn, Mr. T, I'd love to shoot him, but I just can't shoot him because you tell me to. I don't like liberals any more than you do, but I can't shoot him. So this civil defense attorney has some footage of a case where a cop shoots somebody because he hears the word shoot. And they should have won his case, and he ends up winning a several $100,000 lawsuit, but guy could have been killed.
Shot 3 times through the front door of his very own house, following allegations that there was some sort of domestic violence incident between him and his wife. The wife had left the residence and gone to their daughter's house.
Okay, so the attorney isn't clear here on whether the cops knew she left, whether the 911 knew this, or whether they were responding to maybe a hostage situation, because that would change a little bit. The cop's still wrong for shooting because he says he shot because he heard someone say shoot. And he shoots him twice in his own home, and he forces entry when there's really no reason to force entry, unless he said he forced entry because he thought there was a hostage situation, he thought somebody was in danger, and even then, he ends up shooting through the door, and he doesn't say anything about the guy being armed or in fear of his life. He says he shot because he heard someone say shoot. I mean, just clearly a bad shooting.
Who then had called 911 and reported that there was an alleged domestic violence altercation and that there were firearms in the house. This is the footage that followed. On the way to the scene, the deputy, and this is in West Virginia, he was advised by the dispatcher while he was en route to the residence that the alleged victim in the case was no longer at the scene.
Okay, so that's cool. I missed that when I kind of scanned the video, see if I was going to do a video on it. That's critical. The officer knew there was no one else in the house. So if you shoot this person, you have to justify fear for yourself or fear for others, that you're protecting others or protecting yourself. This is not the case when this cop shot. This is a bad shoot.
So it was just the alleged subject that was there. No concerns about saving somebody that was at the house. Points his dash cam camera that's mounted in the front of his police. He's a canine officer, and he's got his German Shepherd, I believe it is, in his left hand, and then he pulls out his pistol in his right hand. And you can see what happens here.
Okay, so he's yelling at a closed door, let me see your hands. Okay, I'm okay with that. He never announces police, and he never says, show me your hands, the police, come out with your hands up, we got the house around. He doesn't communicate anything. He just squats down at the door and surprises a homeowner, who the homeowner says he hears something, and he goes to look out the window to see what he hears, and he sees a dog and a dude crunch down with a gun. And then he hears, show me your hands. Now, remember, the guy's got a yellow vest on, but that doesn't mean he's a cop. There's plenty of cases where criminals pose as cops to get people to open the door. So I'm with the homeowner. This cop's wrong. Shit, what happened?
MC4, all units. I got subject inside front door. I'm outside front door.
Okay, so he's got the subject inside the front door. No mention of a gun or fear or hostage or any what I would call an exigent circumstance. Remember, there are only 3 ways government can get into your house. 3 ways. Consent, meaning I invite you in. Exigency, there's an emergency to where I have to act immediately or someone could die or evidence could be destroyed. Or a warrant. That's it. Those are the only 3 ways government gets in your house. Now he announces, Sheriff's Department, let me see your hands. No mention of a gun, no mention of drop the gun, no mention of on the radio. When he got there, he got on the radio and said, hey, I'm here, and I'm up front, and there's a guy inside the house. He's articulating on the radio, but he never articulates on the radio that there's a gun or he's in fear. Now he charges, let me see your hands, put them up, and he says, evidently what happens here is the guy opens the door, looks out, sees him, and then shuts the door and runs in his house. Which, anybody that doesn't run from the cops nowadays, I'm going to have to put them in the stupid category. Because there ain't no damn telling what the cops are going to do nowadays. If you see cops, you need to avoid them with all costs. Because if you don't, you could be a victim. Just like this guy's in his own freaking house, and he gets shot. And people be like, well, he shouldn't have ran. He's in his own freaking house. The door's shut. He's unarmed. And he's shot in the back by government. Rick, you're always picking on the cops. They're all heroes and you're just hate cops. I'm just telling you, people, government is out of control. They're not held accountable. They're doing stupid things because they know there's no accountability. They're not losing their jobs. They're not going to prison. They just get to run around and shoot people and go, I was in fear of my life. Sorry. So this officer, not only does he shoot through the door, he then kicks the door and makes entry into the house. So he shoots through the door a man in his own home on a domestic call that he knows the supposed victim has already left the house. And look at the way these cops, why did they respond this way? Because somebody said there was guns inside the house. Because we have made anybody that owns a gun an automatic enemy of the state, and therefore they have to kill you or be in fear of their life. It's freaking total BS, and this is a bad shooting, and not only should this cop have to pay, he should be in jail.
So in case you missed that, what happened is that he was crouched by the front door yelling, shouting, show me your hands, Sheriff's Department. And the client had alleged that he came to the door because he heard someone outside. He started to open the door and he saw a dog and a guy running at him. And so he closed the door. Shortly thereafter, you hear some sounds, thump, thump. That was the deputy kicking the door, trying to bust the door open. And then quickly thereafter, you hear pow, pow, pow. You hear the gunshots, which were shot directly through the closed front door.
So not only did the cop make unlawful entry when he kicked the door and entered the house, He did an unlawful seizure when he fired through the door in a guy's home where there was no threat to anybody, and he never saw a gun or claimed in fear, and the guy was running away because he was shot in the back. I mean, this is like the freaking easy, most unjustified shooting ever. And you know what? They let the guy settle. I'm kind of thinking they probably should have got more by not settling, but whatever.
And then you hear the sounds of the deputy going in to render first aid to my client, who was shot twice through the hip, 2 or 3 times through the hip area.
So he renders first aid. This reminds me of the whole thing in the Vietnam War where they used to say, you know, we go into a village and we're there to save them and protect them and win hearts and minds. We shoot and kill everybody in the village, and then we give people that we shot Band-Aids and say, hey, we're here to help. This is what our police force has become in this country. They come here and shoot and kill and maim and attack dogs and taser and then say, well, we're rendered aid. I mean, what do you want us to do? We're trying to help. We had to go there to protect you. So they shoot you to protect you. They tase you to protect you. They release dogs on you to protect you. And then they give you first aid to help you. Oh, perfect. Yeah, only an idiot could not see that shit coming. So now the cop that made unlawful entry and had his dog and started shooting and has done all this shit, now he wants to play, I need to get first aid. Well, Rick, maybe he knew he made a mistake and he was really trying to save him, and it doesn't matter. It shouldn't have happened. And he should be knowing that he's going to jail, because if cops knew they went to jail when they did this, this would stop happening every damn day.
I got him. He's on the ground. I shot him twice. I need to get first aid kit.
Officer Shooter tell the story to another police officer about what happened for the first time, and he'll tell it several times. You'll see.
Nah, he saw me in the back end. I couldn't say anything. Tony was walking up, hollering, shoot.
So he says somebody was walking up and he hollered, shoot.
Nah, he saw me in the back end. I couldn't say anything. Tony was walking up.
Tony was walking up hollering, shoot. So he blamed it on the guy behind him that said shoot. Now, I think this guy is Tony, and Tony immediately says, I didn't say shoot. Don't blame this shit on me because you went in and kicked, made unlawful entry, and did all this shit. Don't blame it on me. You know what? This cop ain't got no... Even if he said shoot, he's got no liability here. This cop doesn't have to listen. This cop made the decision. So it is totally irrelevant whether or not he said shoot, but the fact that he didn't say shoot shows what the hell is going through this cop's mind.
Holler, shoot. I thought you said shoot. I didn't say shoot.
I didn't say shoot. Don't put this shit on me. This is, I've been in a situation with cops. You get on scene and then afterwards everybody starts covering their ass. Oh, I didn't say that. I didn't see that. Yo, man, you fucking said he had a knife. Man, I don't remember saying that. Okay, well, you said it, and I looked at his hand, and it looked like he had a knife. So, I mean, this is common for cops after the incident to start covering their ass and making statements to start protecting themselves, because that's what really matters when the music stops, is to make sure you have a chair to have a seat, and you're not the last one standing without a chair.
Saying shoot me or shoot him.
So here you hear the first rendition of the shooter's version.
No mention of a gun, no mention of fear. He said he shot because he heard Tony say shoot.
Of events about what happened. He said that another police officer, this guy Tony, who's wearing plain clothes here, was walking up behind him or running up behind him, and Tony had told him to shoot. Shoot, shoot.
Damn, Tony. You had one freaking job, just show up and keep your mouth shut. Now you yelled shoot, and now this poor guy killed this guy. What the hell? We're all government. We're all protected. We all got limited immunity. Who cares? Let the taxpayer pay out a few $100,000. Don't come out of our pocket. I get to go to work, keep my benefits, not go to jail. What do I have to worry about? That's why this shit happens.
And Tony says, I didn't tell you to shoot. Now he's about to tell what happened for the second time. Same story as he told the first time.
Somebody said shoot, and it was either me or him. I don't know if it was shoot him or shoot me. I heard shoot. When I walked up.
I heard shoot, and I'm just a dumbass. I carry a gun around and a dog, and my only job is to wait for somebody else shoot, and then I just fucking shoot people. That's a perfect defense. Are you freaking kidding me?
I seen you crash when I saw you. I come bailing. Next time As soon as I come around front, you start to move, you're saying, show me your hands, and that's kind of bap. As soon as I gave the order for him to open the door, let me see his hands.
The officer still has his dash cam recorder on his person, so it's still recording all the audio. You're about to hear the West Virginia State Trooper, who was assigned to investigate this police shooting, come up and talk to this officer for the first time.
Now, this is really kind of interesting because, and I'll slow this down to regular time here because I had it sped up a little bit. So, this trooper, who's supposed to be an independent, because everybody's like, man, you shouldn't have the same agency. Look, it doesn't matter whether it's the same agency or different agency. Most of the times, it doesn't matter. It matters on the cop in there, on his integrity and his ability to do the job and not to protect the blue line and to do the bullshit and to pass the line and to try to help cops that make mistakes. Now, look, I was a cop. And I know cops make mistakes, and I don't like to see them have career-ending mistakes because of mistake. But when you're running around shooting fucking people because you think you heard somebody say shoot, your ass needs to have your career ended, and you shouldn't be in law enforcement. So, you have to draw the line. Now, if you push some dude, and he's a dirtbag, and he just got out of prison, and he was being a jerk, and he got in your face, and you lost it, I don't think you ought to be going to prison for assault, and you ought to lose your career because some piece of shit who's been in and out of the system 500 times and has let out, and now he's going back to prison, and he ends up pushing you to where you lose your temper. So that to me is a big difference between the blue line and protecting. To me, it's about good and evil. Am I doing more evil by protecting the evil, or am I just promoting evil because I'm like, look, good people make bad decisions sometimes. If it's not critical or life-threatening, it shouldn't be the end of the world. Okay, now you can hate on me because I'm the blue line and I'm protecting cops and I love all cops. I'll have those guys come here comment now. Here we go. State trooper, supposed to be independent investigation, supposed to be out here looking for the truth. And that's what I used to tell all the DAs. When I worked for the DAs off, they were always like, yo, man, can you change the statement? This would help me. Look, my job is not to help you and your case. My job is to get the facts and find the truth. And if that hurts your case, I don't give a shit. Which didn't make me real popular with DAs who were always worried about their win-loss record instead of freaking doing the right thing. So, it is what it is. This cop doesn't have a lot of integrity in me because he's telling this guy, don't talk, don't give me a statement, you're hanging yourself, you shouldn't say that, you should take time and think before I do it. If this guy was a criminal, you never hear cops telling him, don't talk to me. Don't say that right now because you're not thinking clearly. They want that statement when you're not thinking clearly so they can use it against you. But in this case, that's not what happens.
He tells the exact same story for the third time.
And it was muffled, and it was either, I know I heard shoot, and it was either shoot him or shoot me. But I heard it twice.
Again, for the third time, he's saying the reason why he shot is because he heard shoot. Bullshit shooting.
And that's when I shot. But I don't know who said it.
No mention of a gun, I was in fear, etc. Later, I think he says, I thought he had a gun.
Because it was muffled.
Just get it all together. I'm going to be starting to work the thing until Scott gets up there. We might get a guy from Martinsburg since I know everybody. But like I was telling Ben, some of the stuff I've read before, I don't know if it's a good thing for somebody when they've been involved in a shooting to make it.
So, I don't think this trooper knew he was being recorded, which is why I think all cops ought to be recorded all the damn time. He says, I don't know if it's a good thing for someone who's been involved in a shooting to make a statement right away. When was the last time a cop told a citizen who used his gun in self-defense that statement? Let me guess. Never! Never! No cop's going to tell somebody that. Don't talk to the freaking cops. And this guy is basically telling this cop, dude, don't say shit. That's going to hurt your case. If you're saying that you shot somebody because you heard somebody shoot, your ass is going to be unjustified shooting and you're going to be hung out to dry. You need to say you were in fear of your life or you saw a gun. And maybe he did say that when he wasn't recording. I don't know.
Statement right away. There's pros and cons. Recording anything. Well,
Yeah, I haven't turned it off.
there's pros and cons to it. As far as, sometimes they're saying you're hyped up right now and you may say something that didn't happen or you may word it wrong.
You may say something that didn't happen. Meaning, you may say what really happened, but you probably shouldn't say it. That's what that means.
You know what I'm saying? So, I'm going to go ahead.
It's pretty clear right now in my head
So the cop who's freaking Mr. I just shot somebody because somebody I thought I heard somebody yell shoot is freaking pretty clear, and he wants to give a statement. He wants to talk. Man, I tell you, man, cops are the freaking don't talk to the cops. And you would think cops would know that. You'd think lawyers would know it. I just did a case where the judge was talking to a cop after he was arrested for assaulting a cop. You would think people would know, don't talk to government. It never freaking helps you.
Right. I mean, maybe you wouldn't jot down some notes or something, so you don't forget anything.
So the officer supposedly investigating the shooting is basically telling him to shut up, and he doesn't want to shut
I
up.
don't know.
I agree.
I thought I was, when I pulled in, as soon as I got up there, I saw somebody at the door.
Wait a minute. I saw a gun and then I shot. Who said that? The written report, which came a few days later, would be completely different. I.e., so in the written report is where he said, I saw a gun and then I shot. Not only is this cop incompetent and an idiot, he's a fucking liar. That's total bullshit. And his credibility should be impugned to the highest degree. And he should be charged with perjury for filing a false report if they have that in that state. California has it. I guess you can't lie, but it has to be material, and this is material. But anyway, the cop's a freaking liar. If he wrote in a written report later, he just gave 3 freaking verbal statements, 3 different people, and never mentioned seeing a gun, never put it out on dispatch, never called for help, never warned other officers that there's a gun involved. And now, when he writes a report a few days later, he says he saw a gun. He's a freaking liar.
When I pulled in, as soon as I got up there, I saw somebody at the door. That's when I took a look.
Well, at least I did find a round in the wall, recently punched hole in the wall.
Do I need to keep recording, or do you want me to turn it off?
Okay, turn it off.
Yeah, turn it off so I can talk to you and tell you to shut your freaking mouth again off the camera because you're not taking a hint because you're too stupid about being how smart you are.
Lifted by helicopter to a local hospital. He fortunately did survive the shooting. Afterward,
Okay, so anyway, they end up settling this. He said like on a courthouse steps 2 days before they went to trial. And government always wants to bully you into going to trial, and they want you to spend as much money as you can, and they want you to try and drop the case because it's getting too expensive, because they don't care about the money. They'll just raise taxes and take more taxpayer money. And then at the very end, when they figure out they can't bluff you into taking a plea deal, then they settle, and they pay out taxpayer money. And then the cops keep their job, governments continue to do their same shit, policy doesn't change, accountability doesn't change, and the cops continue to do what they've been doing for the last probably decade, is shooting first and asking questions and making up their statement later. It's absolutely ridiculous. So this guy, civil rights lawyer, good for him for doing this, and he did this thing. Make sure and throw him a like if you want to go watch the whole video. Here it is, my client got shot, and it's on his channel, The Civil Rights Lawyer. All right? And that there, I'm using this fair use act. Y'all have a good one.